What is up, ladies and gentlemen? My name is Justin Totino, but you may call me Mr. J, and welcome to my Assassin's Creed Origins gameplay series. The recent update came out today, and we have two things to take a look at. First is the Discovery Tour. Explore this virtual museum mode with guided tours and historical locations set in a combat and quest-free environment. So, we're going to be taking a look at that today. I don't know how long it is, and if we're going to be going throughout the entire game, I suspect it'll be pretty long. So for this video, it's not really going to be the entire Discovery Tour. It's really just going to be, maybe half an hour of it, just to sort of get the sense of what the Discovery Tour is, to see what it's all about, and see how the tour takes place, if by chance you haven't already watched the gameplay of it on that Ubisoft has released. Now, this update is free to all Assassin's Creed Origins owners, or it's available as a separate download for around 20 bucks, where you could just it's just that download the map and you have the tour available to you. Hello, viewer, thank you for stopping by. I really appreciate that. So we're just going to go ahead and take a look at it. Like I said, we're not going to stay too long into it because I don't know how long it is really. But it's just to get the idea of what the Discovery Tour is. The other thing that was released with this update was New Game Plus mode. Now, with New Game Plus, there's a unique reward for completing it, and it bumps everything up by one scale, and the enemy scaling is turned on by automatically. So, for example, if you were playing on hard difficulty prior, which I was for my first playthrough, playing on New Game Plus automatically puts the difficulty to Nightmare mode. On top of that, the enemy scaling is on by default, so that means as you level up, the enemies level up as well. Or if you're already max level once you start New Game Plus, which I believe that's how it works, then the enemies will already be max level as well. But as with other games, New Game Plus modes, you still keep your weapons and certain upgrades. There's some upgrades you don't keep because they're part of the story. But yeah, so we'll maybe take a look at that another time. But for now, let's see what this Discovery mode is all about. I'm actually going to mute myself for a while just to not interrupt anything.
Welcome to Discovery Tour by Assassin's Creed, Ancient Egypt. Okay, so we're starting out as Aya. Use L to move the character and start the tour. Now, there's only 3 achievements, or sorry, trophies when it comes to the Discovery mode. There's one for completing it, one for completing I think there's one for completing it entirely, so all of the game map. One for completing it with 5 characters, so you'll be able to switch your avatar out at some point, I'm sure. And there was a third one, and I don't recall what that is, but looks like the default one here is Aya. So let's get to it, shall we? Alexandria, planning of the city. Number of stations 8. Region Alexandria. Learn about the design and layout of the city of Alexandria. Estimated time 6 minutes. So it gives you an estimated time on how long the tour it takes to complete. I believe this is the one that they had released footage of to begin with. So let's start the tour.
Welcome to Alexandria. Planning of the city. Alexander's plan to build his great city began with a verse from Homer's Odyssey. There is, in front of Egypt, in the sea with many swells, an island called Pharos. Guided by these clues, Alexander the Great founded his future city at the western end of the Nile Delta.
Now, let's see here. The bottom left, we have battle of issues between Alexander and Darius III, 2nd century BCE. And then we could close it or look at more info. So let's take a look at what more info does. Ah. Legendary site. Blah, blah, blah. We said all that. Alexander's plan. Okay, so it's the text version of what the narrator had said. And then this is just the 2nd century Musée Archéologie Nationale, Naples, Italia. Archéologique. I mispronounced that. Photo. Florence. So it's a photo of an actual, piece of art. And there's the city herself. Oh, I like that. If you don't touch it, it moves back to the default position. Alright.
Though Alexander considered this location ideal for his great city, it presented considerable challenges. Too difficult to access during storms, the surrounding swamps threatened disease, and the limestone soil prevented the growth of healthy crops. However, due to the influence of his mentor Aristotle, Alexander the Great recognized that the true value was its strategic emplacement. Alexander knew that in controlling Pelusium to the east, Memphis to the south, and his crowning glory Alexandria to the west, he would create a triangular stronghold, allowing him to control the entire delta while giving him access to the Mediterranean. The Great Walls of Alexandria had a humble beginning. Lacking chalk to outline the future city's foundations, architects were forced to use flour instead. Clouds of migrating birds swept down and ate the flour, erasing the plans. This prompted Alexander to seek guidance from the oracles, who reassured him that his future city was destined to feed a large population. Excavations led by Mahmud Bey el-Falaki in the 19th century revealed that the wall enclosure measured approximately 5.2 kilometers in length and 2.2 kilometers in width. It was roughly 9 meters in height.
View of the obelisk of
Thumosis III seen from the walls of Alexandria from 18th century. Currently at the Metropolitan Museum of Art in New York. I didn't linger on that too long with that. It's got some nice watercolors in there. Some nice titanium white. Happy little palm tree over there. And now we enter the city.
These formidable ancient walls would resist a number of attacks, including fending off the king of Syria in 169 BCE. It wasn't until 295 CE that they eventually fell to Roman Emperor Diocletian, and this only after 8 months of relentless assault.
Get it.
Whoa. Whoa.
Alexandria's principal architect, Dinocrates, chose a Hippodamian grid plan. The grid maximized functionality, with wide straight roads and canals running beneath them. Alexander recognized the military value of the city's design. The wide parallel streets gave him optimal surveillance of the city while allowing the unobstructed flow of troops.
Whoa.
A central corridor ran from the Mediterranean's north port down to Lake Mareotis to the south. This thoroughfare acted as an unobstructed link for commercial trade and travel between the two ports. Many of the streets were bordered with grand buildings and parks, including Canopic Street, with its impressive gate bordering the eastern end. Alexandria was most likely built upon an already existing Egyptian village. Upon its completion, the Egyptians reviled the city, refusing to call it by its founder's name. Instead, they called it Raked, the building, as a mark of disdain, which was later Hellenized into Rakotis. Despite this, the name Alexandria would remain.
Oh, okay, so there we go. That's the third trophy. First visit, just completing one tour. Welcome to the Discovery Tour by Assassin's Creed. You can now explore ancient Egypt at your own pace or select option to choose a new tour by opening the pause menu. Let's see, what do we have here? Oh, let's see. There's 20 in total. Oh wait, there's 20 in Egypt, 16 pyramids, 14 Alexandria, 20 in daily life, 5 in Romans. And that's in the tours. Let's see, let's take a look at the map. Oh boy, look at that. Wow, that's a lot. That's a lot to go through. But then we could still do a fast travel to each one, depending on what we want to see. So the Alexandria one is the first tour, and it's the one that was sort of provided to us in gameplay preview not too long ago. Let's see. Let's do one more tour. We're gonna go on to the next one, the next closest one, which is this one here. What is this? Characters. Oh shit! You could go ahead and just Bayek of Siwa, Magi, husband to Aya of Alexandria. Aya of Alexandria, trained as a Magi, wife to Bayek of Siwa. Julius Caesar, Cleopatra. William Miles, Lila Hassan, King Ptolemy, or Pharaoh Ptolemy. Himu of Siwa, Shayada of Ihumira, is that how it's pronounced? Rita the Merchant, Hasina of Yamu. Actor. Just a random actor in costume. Random Egyptian woman, random Egyptian noble, another random Egyptian noble, a Roman soldier, a Greek noble, a Greek noble, a Greek farmer, or random, folk. Soldiers, Bayek with Egyptian hijab, more distinguished with practical outfit. Hijab means white. Bayek with Egyptian Turu means blue. Wearing the robe of an elder. It's just Bayek in the different outfits you could get throughout the game. Passport. Oh shit! So this still goes to show you all the things that have been completed or not. 20, 16, 14, 20, and 5. So 45. 45, 60, 75 things to complete. Timeline. Ooh, timeline. The Old Kingdom, 2686 to 2181 BCE. That's when, and the Great Pyramids were built in 2550. Middle Kingdom counts as 2055 to 1650. The New Kingdom is 1550 to 1069. Tutankhamun, roughly 1341 to 1323. Ramses. Pardon the interruption. Okay, so it's just a very brief timeline, doesn't go into too much detail. Alright, let's go do the next closest tour, which looks like is... Actually, it might be that one up there. So let's go do that one.
Welcome to the Moseon of... The Moseon was a sector of the city commissioned by Ptolemy I to rival Athens' Academy as an institute of intellectual pursuit. Dedicated to the 9 inspiring muses, the Moseon became a great center for philosophical and scientific enlightenment. It welcomed scholars from many kingdoms, inviting them to share knowledge in literature, science, and geography. The Moseon was designed so that its buildings and grounds would accommodate free thinking, debate, and presentation. Meeting spaces and theaters surrounded a main courtyard. Expansive gardens were filled with exotic plants that aided in the study and supply of herbs and medicines. A zoo offered the study of animal behavior and physiology. Also among the Moseon's many star attractions was its astronomical observatory.
Agalmadobion, alithenden, kelisma, oidei edisin asveneste, ieron gep terixeos geneas igodomisin melidai, liadu chrizi otonon yiganeon agalman sarabi.
Herophilus was a physician who lived most of his life in Alexandria. He was able to perform the dissection of human cadavers on a large scale due to the permissiveness of the city in such matters. Among many other discoveries, he learned that the brain was central to the human nervous system. He also extensively mapped the blood system and measured the pulse with the aid of a water clock. It is reported that in his thirst to understand human anatomy, he performed 600 vivisections on live prisoners.
I wonder if it's trying to imply that this little NPC here is the person they speak about in the description.
Anthropei! Yegnino yarbios amichanos esti, uminthei monuthison. Gnesion bara prosefheste, yegneon yaersti.
Oh, look at that. Because the sponge was there on the ground, but then she just sat on it, so I was wondering what that was about. But it's not there. And then when it appears... Oh, it wasn't there again, but whatever. Well, someone's in that spot already.
In order to be free to pursue their research, Scholars were fed and housed at the Moseon at the government's expense. This freedom provided Alexandria's scholars a meeting space for intellectual pursuits and a haven for spiritual peace. Though nothing remains of the original Moseon, it lives on as the legacy of our modern museums.
So all of these NPCs are scholars and scientists and whatnot. Market Gate of Miletus, a well-preserved Greek city. Oh yeah, that's it. It was only 4 this time. So that is the end of that tour as well. Let's do one more tour. Let's see. The island of Pharos, 9 stations. Probably goes up and around the area here. Hey, what? Why does it look like it's glowing? Interesting. Okay. Education in Alexandria. Okay, we'll do that one because it's short. It's only 3 stations, and then we'll do that one. And then I think we'll call it there, just to give you an idea of what the Discovery Tour is and how it works. Ooh, hell, hey now. Education in Alexandria.
Welcome to Education in Alexandria. The education of young Alexandrians did not differ from the one generally dispensed elsewhere in ancient Greece. At the age of 7, the child was taken in charge by a tutor, who then became responsible for instilling an elementary education as well as good moral principles. Teaching was generally done outside, in the open air. In the gymnasium, students were taught not only sports, but also topics such as rhetoric, philosophy, music, and poetry. All things deemed essential to one's education at the time.
Not anymore. Oh, hey, got some weird clipping, or I don't remember the term for that at the moment, top of my head. I mean, I don't know how it is for most education around the world. In Canada, at least in Quebec, it's English, French, math, gym, and then for some reason music on the recorder. The flute, not the real flute, but the recorder, the plastic junky thing. And that is about it. Didn't have much as far as elementary school goes. High school, you're able to branch out, do a little more. So maybe not too different.
Here, both girls and boys are shown attending a class given by one of the rhetoricians of the era. The team made the choice to show both genders attending class within the context of the game world. Even though it is historically inaccurate, the team felt it was not necessary to prioritize historical sexism over inclusive gameplay.
Oh. So I was wondering why it said behind the scenes in the corner there. Depicting a dance lesson. So when it's actually historically accurate, it's you know, the tour when it's just something about gameplay or something gameplay related or why they chose it to do like this for the game, it says behind the scenes. Okay. That completes education in Alexandria. So if we were to go back and look
Three
at this...
things are necessary.
Oh.
Teaching was generally done outside, in the open air. In the gymnasium, students were taught not only sports, but also topics such as rhetoric, philosophy, music, and poetry. All things deemed essential to one's education at the time.
Shit, I skipped something! How could I? Fuck. I wanted to double check on what the term would be when it says behind the scenes
Teaching
for that.
was generally done
But
outside,
for this it doesn't.
in the open air. In the gymnasium. Here, both girls and boys are shown attending a class given by one of the rhetoricians of the era. The team made the choice to show both genders attending class within the context of the game world. Even though it is historically inaccurate, the team felt it was not necessary to prioritize historical sexism over inclusive gameplay.
Shit. It started off as like in Egypt, something three things, and then I fucking cut it off. Because I'm a fool. Hopefully it's like a random bit of dialogue that comes up when, like, you know, you're not doing anything. Is this the next one we were going to do? Yeah. Fuck, I hate that. I'm too quick to go and do something else. I don't take my time. You gonna say anything?
You can use a mount to cover long distances quickly.
Yeah, you see, it's probably like an idle chat thing that will come up again. Say, in Egypt, three things. In Egypt and three things. That's all I got before I cut it off. Learn about the island of Pharos and the monuments located on the island. Estimated time, 7 minutes. Let's do this.
Welcome to the Islands of Pharos.
Different narrator this time. And it changed it to night automatically. I've noticed that it changes depending on...
The Heptastadion was a bridge-like causeway connecting the island of Pharos to mainland Alexandria. Its name is based on the Greek terms of measurement, hepta, meaning 7, and stadion, which is a measure of length of roughly 180 meters. Since its construction would separate the Grand Port to the east and the port of Eunostos to the west, it was designed with channels at each end. These openings allowed passage from one port to the other. Along with creating separate harbors for the commercial and military shipping, the causeway served as a main aqueduct for the island's inhabitants. Its presence also helped protect the island and its ports from rough wind and sea currents. At the end of antiquity, the heptastadion disappeared under layers of silt and soil, which formed an important sedimentary deposit. Whoa. While the Serapeum was the most celebrated of the temples in Alexandria, many other temples were built within the city. Most of these structures have been completely erased over time, and there is no way to discern how many existed. However, research of ancient papyri offer tantalizing hints as to the possible location of at least some of the temples. Both papyri and coins reveal evidence of many temples built for the gods. Poseidon, the god of the sea, likely had an edifice in his honor west of this island, as well as on the mainland. This temple next to you is dedicated to Isis Pharia, the divine protector of the lighthouse. This location hosted annual celebrations in the month of April, known as the Sacrum Pharia, in connection to the lighthouse. In her incarnation as Isis Fortuna, the goddess carries a rudder and a cornucopia, both symbols of good luck for navigators.
Γαλήνευσον την καρδία τέκνον, Κύριος είδε τας πράξεις σου. Απολαύσον τας πράξεις σου.
Considered one of the 7 wonders of the ancient world, the Lighthouse of Alexandria was a source of great pride for the inhabitants of the city. Construction began under Ptolemy I's reign and lasted 15 years. It was completed during his son's rule. Once completed, the lighthouse was dedicated to the gods for the salvation of those who sail the sea. Built on the island of Pharis, the stone structure was 3 tiers set on top of one another in a step formation. The second floor consisted of an octagonal tower, and the top floor was a cylindrical tower topped by a statue. The interior provided space for staff rooms and a ramp which allowed the transport of fuel to the upper floors.
Εσού ελάβνην ου γιγνοσκόμην γε, γης βέλτιστος.
Essential to safe navigation through the rifts and shallow waters, The Ferris was a functioning lighthouse, with a beam reportedly visible 50 kilometers away. It's unclear what kind of fuel was used or how much. Any other details of how the light worked remain a mystery. For several centuries, the Ferris was one of the highest monuments ever built by man. It measured roughly 110 meters in height, compared to the Pyramid of Giza, which was around 140 meters tall. Gradually, the structure was eroded by earthquakes and then completely destroyed in 1480 CE, when a fort was built over it. Archaeological excavations on the seabed have uncovered many blocks from the ancient building.
Oh, hey. That was, faster than I thought it would be. I thought there was more than that. Let's climb to the top of the lighthouse. Shall we? Hello, Sphinx. Excuse me, guards that would normally attack me. Oh, shit. But there's no getting hurt in the Discovery Tour. I'm sure
Don't forget, you can still use photo mode at any time.
Come on now. Come on, jump. So strange. Let's see. I'm sure there's a way to get up there. Because there's a, what's it called at the top, isn't there? Yeah, there is. Strange. Seems that we can't climb higher than a certain point. That doesn't seem right, but...
Try using your eagle when you want a top-down view.
Sure. Yeah, hey, look at that. It's just not letting us climb past that. Oh, wait. Wait a second. No, turn around, Senu. Hmm. Yeah, okay, so, yeah, you climbed inside a window. Interesting. So strange. See if we could. There's a door we could go into. No.
Take your time. I'll wait. It's not like ancient Egypt is going anywhere.
I like that. Okay, so that thing he said with the Egypt in 3 steps or 3 important things is probably just a random like call out that happens like that. Hmm. Let's see what happens if we use the fast travel. Hello, the Last Eagle. Thank you for stopping by. What will the reward be for Trial of the Gods? Well, if you've here's the thing. With Trial of the Gods, there are 3 gods to fight. Once you fight them 4 times, it doesn't matter in which order, and it doesn't matter which gods. As long as you defeat them 4 times, you get 4 different weapons for defeating them per time that you defeat them. So, for example, if the current god is I don't know if there's a Trial of the Gods happening at the moment, but if the god is Anubis.
Take your time. I'll wait. It's not like ancient Egypt is going anywhere.
If the god is Anubis and you fight him, you'll get a weapon. And then the next god comes around and it's Sobek, and you fight him, you get another weapon. Third time, you got both of the 2 Anubis sets. Okay, so you got the full Anubis set, and then you got the community challenge set with the golden Anubis armor. In that case, I think that's it. I don't know if there's anything else to get. If you've gotten both of those, then that's it. The trials will just keep on resetting, just for those who've never played them before. I don't think there's anything else to get. You're just going to be doing them for fun at that point. Okay, so we used fast travel to get to the top of this thing, because for some reason it wasn't letting us climb to the top. So let's see here. There's the viewpoint, like in the main game. Let's see if we could actually climb down without using the viewpoint. Because it seems like it wasn't letting us...
3 things are necessary when exploring Egypt: water, a good camera, and an omnipresent voice coming from nowhere.
So that's the voice over that we missed before. Okay. There's a 3rd Anubis set that includes Jackal's Gaze and the Sword of Duat. Jackal's Gaze and Sword of Duat. I think those... Sword of Duat. Jackal's Gaze and Sword of Duat sound familiar, but I don't think they're new. I think those are ones that have been around already. Then again, I have not played the main game since the new patch came out. This is the first thing I'm doing, is the Discovery Tour. That we've just been doing, which we're coming towards the end of now. Not the end of the Discovery Tour itself, but like the end of our video here. Okay, so here's what they did. They closed off... Normally this would be open and you could climb down some more and you could jump through a window and then climb all the way up here. But it seems that for the Discovery Tour they limited the buildings. You can't go inside each building. That's why it wasn't letting us climb up to the top of this area, and that's why I had to use fast travel to get here. So
still. There's a new reward for completing New Game Plus. Yes, I did know that. I don't know what the reward is yet. I will find out because I'm probably going to do my own series of New Game Plus videos. Excuse me. So I don't know what the reward is yet, but I'll find out in due time. But yeah, that's pretty cool that they're doing that for New Game Plus. I'd mentioned this at the start of this video, that with New Game Plus there's not only a new unique reward, but it actually like levels up everything that you've been doing from your main game. So for example, if you've been playing on hard difficulty, like I have, when you do New Game Plus, it'll automatically be Nightmare mode, Nightmare difficulty. On top of that, all the enemy auto scaling is turned on by default, so all the enemies will be at the same level as you the whole time. So it should be for a nice, unique challenge. Cyril! Dead. Okay, so they limited the building climbing. You can't climb into the building, or many of the buildings. I'm sure many of the buildings are like this.
Try using your eagle when you want a top-down view.
Thank you, male narrator. So we completed 4 tours in Alexandria. The first 4 tours here. If we take a look, we do Alexandria. Yep. Let's see characters. Let's see what happens when we switch character. Oh, it's like instant. Cool. And it's Bayek. His armor is not fully upgraded. Let's see. Julius Caesar. Now there's a trophy for completing. Like, I don't know. Okay, I don't recall if the trophy says to complete tours with 5 characters, or to complete all tours, as in all these stations with 5 characters, because that is a lot. This is like 75 things we have to go through. Which I don't mind. I'll take the time to do it. It's not too bad. I like learning about ancient history and stuff like that. Let's see, William Miles. Next we have Layla Hassan, who is the one it actually shows in the cover art for the Discovery Tour. It shows her standing in Bayek's place in front of the key art of the game. Ptolemy, very tiny man. Himu. Now you could tell that it's really just one model that they're putting a skin over, because the kid looks like he's running way too fast for, you know, the size of the character model. And you see when he's climbing up, it looks like it's way too quick. Like I feel like it's just one model that they put this tiny skin over. So now you're still getting the same animations as a full adult, but look how quick he's running. Okay, let's go. Who's the next kid? That's the little girl from the main story. Same thing with her. Look, there's something about the kid models that goes so fast that seems unnatural. But when we switch to Reda, who's a kid also. But if we're gonna switch back to an adult now, nope, this is another kid. But now we'll switch back to an adult actor. This is the model they were using in the preview video when they were showing off the Discovery Tour mode. See, there's some weight to the character. You're still moving at the same pace, but the character feels like it has weight, and they're, you know, struggling to run and keep that pace.
For a glass of water?
So you could tell that it's the same, like, sort of model that they have, and it's the same speed that they're going at with the model, but it's just a tiny, you know, skin over it. Egyptian woman.
Egyptian nobleman. Egyptian noble 1. And then we're gonna see the Greeks now. Oh, Roman soldier first. I mean, we took a look at all these people before. It's just that, well, we didn't really look at them because we didn't select them, but Greek nobleman, Greek noblewoman, Greek man, Greek woman, Ptolemy soldier, Bayek with white. The last few are all Bayek. Bayek with blue, Bayek with the robes of an elder Maasai warrior, and Bayek as a Persian commander. I'm pretty sure these are all costumes you could get in the main game. Let's switch back to Aya. Well, we've done Aya. We've used Aya for 4 tours now. Let's go to Bayek. You know what? Just to make it an even 5, let's do one more tour. Let's do 11 and 4. Well, this one's right here, and it's the Great Library. That's very interesting. So we'll do this one, and then we'll call it there.
Oh. Παύλε, αμελή άνθρωπε, πού κοράν δίνασε. Πότε διδάσκεσαι Ελλάδη, είπα πρώην και εχθές.
Great Library of Alexandria.
Εσού Ελλάδνην ούγι.
Estimated time 7 minutes with 11 stations. Alright, gonna silence myself now. Let's get on with the tour.
Welcome to the Great Library of Alexandria.
Διαμόν ον μέλος φυλάστε. Ουκ έστιν κρήτον ανάγγελμα. Σμίθις, διεήτριαν ειν
Near the district of royal palaces and within the Moseon was the most famous library of all antiquity. The Library of Alexandria was built to house all of human knowledge. At its pinnacle, the library was believed to contain over 700,000 parchments. Throughout the centuries, fires and wars between Christianity and paganism destroyed the library, leaving nothing behind. The loss of the building, and more importantly, its vast collection, is immeasurable. As no descriptions are available, the team's rendition of the Library of Alexandria was inspired by the visuals of the Library of Chalcis at Ephesus.
So as we discovered earlier when it came to the education in Alexandria, some of them will have this blue text that says behind the scenes, which means that it's really just what the game designers and the developers did for their take on the particular subject because of X reason. Like in this case, there is no visual representation of the library really, so they had to make it up. Or as was in the education one, that, typically boys and girls would not be taught at the same time, and that's even if girls and women were taught at all. But for the game, they put, boys and NPC models for both boys and girls being taught just because why not?
While much of the collection was purchased at the government's expense, the library also obtained books through other means. Any books owned by travelers coming through the city were seized to be copied for the library. The copy would then be returned to the owner, and the original entered into the library's collection.
Αρκούντος κατεσχεμό. Θεός τον κλέφτη με ένα αγαπά. Ο τάλας τον οικότης πέρασε μάλλον. Σχέδιον γαρού κάλατε. Την κάτι απίγνω μέσα σε αγοράς. Αγγελίες η κάτεχο. Ηθοποιεί γάτρα κοπίας. Άντε λάβα.
Alexandria offered unrivaled intellectual and cultural attractions. Eminent scholars from Athens, Rhodes, and other Greek centers traveled to the city to learn and engage with other free thinkers. Both the Mouseion and the library were at the center of groundbreaking ideas and creative expression.
Ανεργαρούσι το παρά τις πέδες η γόρας, γυνίου δε πόποτε ενδύματα και να φορεί, και τόσον πλούτον έχουσε, φιλάρι γυριά. Φαύλος εστί, γιγνωσκόμεθα γά, όποτε. Ότι, αληθεία νήπων,
The great minds of antiquity were usually well versed in many disciplines, which were often associated to specific schools of thought. The Peripatetics, the Stoics, and the Cynics were among the most well-known schools of the time. It is clear that Alexandria lived up to its fundamental role as a city for intellectuals, nurturing many great minds whose impact reverberates through our modern world. The great minds of antiquity were usually well versed in many disciplines.
I realized I
often
forgot to show
associated
the
to
image
specific
here.
schools of thought. The Peripatetics, the Stoics, and the Cynics were among the most well-known schools of the time. It is clear that Alexandria lived up to its fundamental role as a city for intellectuals, nurturing many great minds whose impact reverberates through our modern world.
Yeah, I realized I forgot to show that thing there. What is this? Oh, he's gonna go to cleaning the floor too? Oh yeah, because look, the cup is filled there. Is there one where you could look at the shelf though? Because this person here is... Oh yeah. Sorry person, asking you to move. 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 Okay.
Hypatia of Alexandria was a Greek mathematician, philosopher, astronomer, and inventor. Though born in Greece, she eventually migrated to Alexandria, like many great minds of the time. It is there that she became the head of the Neoplatonist school of Alexandria. From most accounts, she was highly respected by her fellow Alexandrians, both as a teacher and a philosopher. With her death, the age of great ancient scientific discoveries came to an end. Callimachus was born in Cyrene and educated in Athens. After his studies, he moved to Alexandria to work in the Great Library. A poet and a critic, he strongly rejected the epic format of Homeric poems, and instead fervently supported a shorter, more judiciously formulated style of poetry. His epigrams and elegiac poems were emulated by later poets. His work was extremely popular, second only to Homer's own works.
Ναι, αγαθέ, πέρασε μόνο να σίνα Θεή, αλλά χείρα εκείνη. Ευχαριστώ τον Θεό. Τα πάντα ρέει και ουδέν ακίνητο μεν, αλλά και πολλές συμβαίνουσαν θεμίας από εκεί. Πέρασε.
It was in Alexandria that mathematician Euclid, the father of geometry, wrote the Elements, laying out the foundational work of what would become modern algebra and number theory. Euclidean geometry would become one of the most influential systems in the evolution of mathematics.
Κορεσμό ψυχής εκ των ένδων και αυτή η βλακεία όψονται γάραξη. Παρά τις αχρήσεις ανθρώπης
How do you calculate the circumference of the Earth? With a camel, 2 sticks, and shadows cast by the sun. This is what Eratosthenes of Cyrene described in his principal work, Geography, while he was director of the Great Library of Alexandria. He is credited for the invention of the armillary sphere around 250 BCE.
Τούτης κορές μας, ποιόνου και στην τούτος. Πάλιντε και πάλιν ιδιώτας.
Πέδασε πλήγην τα μάλα. Τα δεινά του.
Αυτά Δεος βέλνω, πάλιν ιδιώτη,
The earliest known and most complete armillary sphere of antiquity was the Meteoroscopion of Alexandria, with an imposing 9 rings compared to the 3 or 4 of most other astrolabes. Known as the zodiac krikatoi amongst the Greeks, the Meteoroscopion was used to determine the location of celestial bodies around the Earth. Every self-respecting astronomer of antiquity would have sought to use this tool to better understand the celestial movements. Pythagoras of Samos was a well-known and respected philosopher and mathematician. He is best known for the Pythagorean theorem. However, there is proof that the theorem existed in Babylonia and India long before Pythagoras was born, casting some doubts as to who exactly originated the theorem.
Από του οίκου του κλαφούς, Θεάγουσα, Θεό.
And that is the tour of the great library of Alexandria.
Όταν μία έγραψα στα γραμματεία, τελώνες ελέγχους υπό αυτά.
In right-angled triangles, the figure on the side opposite of the right angle equals the sum of the similarly and similarly described figures on the sides containing the right angle. If this guy gets out of the way, you can stand here teaching a class. That's great. Or you can sit here learning. Well, that's it. We've completed 5 tours within the city of Alexandria. And I think that, you know, it gives you, even with the first tour, you got pretty much the idea of what the Assassin's Creed Discovery Tour is all about. And it's, you know, it's fascinating. I can't wait to complete the rest of it. So I'm gonna take my time with this one because I love learning about his history of ancient civilizations and stuff. Like I've particularly been fond of ancient Egypt since I was a kid. So yeah, that is it. The first 5, or you know, yeah, we could say the first 5 tours of Alexandria. And that seems like a pretty good place to take a break, or to end the video, because it's not like we'll continue. As mentioned at the start of the video, the Discovery Tour is free for those who have Assassin's Creed Origins already. I'm pretty sure it's a free update. I don't think you need the Season Pass to own it. I think you get it just for owning the game. However, if you don't own the game, but you're interested in it, it's around $20 as a standalone title. And that's you know, that's pretty much, that's worth it in my opinion, because you're getting the whole map, not the interiors of most buildings, but you do get the whole map to explore, and then you have all this, you know, narration about
my kingdom for a glass of water.
All the narration about the different excited for the Curse of Pharaohs on the 6th of March. Yes, I am. And even prior to Curse of Pharaohs, there's an update. There's a new quest coming out on the I think it's on the 27th of February. There's a quest coming out, kind of like how there was a quest that led into the Hidden Ones DLC. There's going to be a standalone quest that leads into the Curse of Pharaohs. So that's pretty good. So yeah, that's it. That is the Discovery Tour. Thank you, viewers, for tuning in. I really appreciate it. Thank you for stopping by. 27th, we're gonna get new quests, new pack. Yep, exactly. Well, the packs I don't care so much about because they cost, you know, Helix credits, i.e., real money microtransactions. So, I don't really do any sort of like updates or videos on those. If I happen to get something in a Heka chest, that's cool. Yay. But yeah, I'm excited for Curse of the Pharaohs and to see what this new quest is going to be. But in the meantime, thank you so much for... You can
use a mount to cover long distances quickly.
Yes, thank you, narrator. Where was I? Yes, as I was saying, thank you so much for tuning in. Really appreciate it. Next time we come back, we will be taking a look at what that quest is once that DLC is released. Perhaps I'll even be starting a new series of videos for New Game Plus on Nightmare mode, on Nightmare difficulty. I don't know, we'll see. Haven't decided yet. But in the meantime, if you're watching the playback of this, you can see the title card come up in any second now. You can click it, it'll go to the next video if it's available, or you could click another playlist on my channel to see the other games I've gone through. If you don't want to do either of those things, that is entirely up to you. I do not mind either way. But,
you can use a mount to cover long distances quickly.
Thank you, narrator. I think that's going to get annoying. But anyway, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you all next time. Have a good night.